At the dawn of time, there was me, a little scribbly idiot guy that didn't even know that 9/11 just happened not that long ago. And the effect that it had on society. This guy didn't even know what taxes were. This fucking little idiot. I spawned into this world wanting only one thing, to be a certified hood classic gamer. Now, if you said Canadian, this sounds a lot like a video that Scott the Woz just made, and it's very simple. Yes, you can pull inspiration. It's a thing. Shut the fuck up. I kind of had certain timelines in my life that I would call my goblin years, my normal years, and my recent years. So let me start off with my goblin years. Growing up, I had a wide range of consoles that spanned generations and probably influenced my taste in gaming in general. Starting with my earliest years, I remember these fondly, but not as much as later down the line. My brain was barely out of its head empty stage. My first console that I remember playing was a hand-me-down Nintendo 64 that my uncle had. Eventually, he just gave it to my mom, and then she gave it to me. I remember playing 1080 snowboarding, which... Jesus, this game's soundtrack. Work your body, work your body, work your body, work it, get it down. Boom, boop, 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 whoop. Push it in. Work. For the longest time, I would just not do any tricks. I would spin. That was the most that I could do. Are you seeing what I have to deal with? Look at this fucking controller. Oh, never mind. I was just a dumbass. Yeah, apparently when I was little, I didn't put two and two together. That I had to do all these tricks in the air. But despite me not doing barely any tricks, you know, the whole entire point of the game, I still just enjoyed the racing part of it, honestly. Even though the AI, I swear to God, it would cheat sometimes. Like, this shit was so fucking difficult, even on easy. You wanna know how many times I had to hear that too bad? Enough to make my therapist concerned. The speed, the levels, just how the game flowed, it was just so good. I play it time to time, but it's still a pretty good game. I remember playing a game called Ready to Rumble, but at a certain point it would just blue screen and then I could just never play it again. I remember playing a game called Tarzan, which apparently that's one of the most easiest games of all time, but somehow my dumbass couldn't finish it. Of course, I remember playing Super Mario 64, which, fuck this eel in particular. And who can forget about Donkey Kong 64? Which for the longest time I couldn't get past this one gate that was at the beginning of the game, so I didn't really get far in this one. And when I did, I explored a little bit more, but essentially just gave up. Funnily enough, I remember actually owning Conker's Bad Fur Day, which, Jesus Christ, this game can be expensive nowadays. But I remember just looking at it and just going, and then never playing it. As a man that grew up with Wreck-It Ralph on DS, I'm clearly a man that has set priorities. People on the Nintendo 64 had F-Zero, meanwhile I had Extreme G. God, I remember playing this game so much and I honestly forgot about it. It's one of the most underrated and forgotten racers of all time. Maybe it's because we got better racing games throughout the years, but I don't know, this just holds just a soft spot in my heart. It's like a mix of F-Zero and Wipeout, but oddly enough, a little bit of Mario Kart since there's like upgrades and objects that you can pick up. And this game goes extremely fast, sometimes a little bit too fast for the poor Nintendo 64. It's trying, it's chugging. And yet again, I think the AI is a little bit of bullshit at times, but this game looks so fucking ambitious for the Nintendo 64. And the fact that it looks this good on the thing, it's just... how? Especially the frame rate on this, like, I'm surprised that it runs this good. I'm sorry, but Nintendo 64 games kind of run like ass sometimes. But I guess my primal brain just fills in the gaps of the frame rate. But I genuinely like this game. I think that it's actually a good game. Micro Machines was a good game. I just like the cute vibe that it gives off. When you win, the cars bounce around as if they're excited. The tracks look like it came from a kid's imagination, and there's so much visual variety because of that. The turning is a bit slow and finicky, and at times it can feel like you're not really going that fast. But when all of it combines together, it's a pretty decent game. I mean, not the greatest game of all time, but pretty decent. GoldenEye. I'm not going to bore you with the obvious that GoldenEye 007 was a good game. It's cram-packed with content. It has some unconventional controls, definitely compared to nowadays. But for a first-person shooter that's on one joystick, it's pretty impressive. I think this game does a lot right. I think most people critiquing it nowadays compare it to modern games. If you go in with that mindset, you're not going to enjoy the game. I still enjoy it personally, and I think that's still a good game. And last but not least, which I'm not gonna go into detail that much because I'm saving it for a bigger video, but Army Men Sarge's Heroes. There's just something about this game that I genuinely cannot explain why I love it so much. It is genuinely my most favorite game of all time. Yell nostalgia. I don't fucking care, honestly. But this game just clicks with me, and I hear no one talking about this game. Can the frame rate be shit? Yeah. But honestly, if you play GoldenEye 64, the original version, I'm pretty sure you can get through this. Is the controls a little weird and wonky for its time? Yeah. You're dealing with this controller after all. But if you just rewire your brain to just adapt to these controls, I'm pretty sure you'll get the hang of it. The story is kind of goofy and doesn't take itself seriously. All the maps sort of have this unique charm to them. I like how all the levels have this sort of home environment sort of vibe to them, as if a child is actually playing with them. And them going for plastic characters in a more plastic environment, I think it just ages the game kind of well. Like, no wonder they look so shiny and low poly. They are supposed to be plastic toys. I love the vast amount of weapons that you can choose from. The tanks would scare the everlasting fuck out of me whenever they would appear out of the Nintendo 64 iconic fog, as well as the flamethrowers, which they're already scary enough going towards you with that fucking line of fire, but when they're behind you and you see that subtle red haze, Jesus, that is horrifying. For little me, of course. I still want to be scared of it, of course. And may I say, the soundtrack, it may just sound like generic military music to you, but the main theme is so fucking good for no reason.
Hang up that computer call, come over here and kiss me on my hot mouth. I'm feeling romantical.
This song is literally stuck in my head and I hum it occasionally, but it's gotten to a point where I've memorized this, even from a young age. So you know that there's something special here. It's fun, has a decent length for a game this old, a lot of unique things going for it, and is legit my most favorite game of all time. Okay, I got the Nintendo 64 out of the way. How many more systems do I have? God damn it! This video is a part 1 of multiple videos I'm going to be making about my childhood games, but it's mostly just going to be console by console each video. So if you want to see more, support this video. I'll be making it anyway. Anyway, subscribe if you want to, like if you want to, even comment if you want to. I don't care. You do you, and have a good day.